Hello from Portland. This video is actually inspired by a video that Sam did talking about his top 5 favorite novels. As I thought about it, I realized the novels that came to mind over and over again were novels that were really about how we are to live, how we are to connect with each other. I've talked about Howard's End on the vlog before. That's not actually in my top 5, but that's a great book. And Ian Forster in general writes a lot about how human beings help each other and break each other and how they connect. And that's what I think all these novels are really about in their various ways. The number 5 on my list, which is a relatively recent book, I don't actually have on this bookshelf because I read it on the Kindle, but you can tell by my shirt, it's The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, which is just an almost perfect book. It is so direct, but it's not simple. It is very powerful, but it's never maudlin. It makes you think for months and months afterward. I think I'll be thinking about that book for the rest of my life and what it says about how we live and how we die and how we love each other and how we hurt each other. Then coming in at number 4, I was tempted to have High Fidelity by Nick Hornby because the character in this book is constantly making top 5 lists, so that would be kind of a meta commentary. But actually, I got to give the nod to About a Boy by Nick Hornby, which is a really terrific novel. I've never seen the movie. I've heard good things about the movie, but I've never seen it. And this is about kind of a jerk who develops a friendship with a sort of awkward 12-year-old. It's very realistic about the fact the guy kind of is a jerk. But the relationship with this very messed up 12-year-old who really needs him in a lot of ways changes him. It opens him up. That speaks to me about how taking care of someone, even in the most rudimentary ways, can really change how you live your life. Next on my list, we're at number 3 now, this is a book by Pat Barker called The Eye in the Door. This is actually part of a trilogy that she wrote about World War I, and the first one's called Regeneration. That actually won the Booker Prize. But for my money, and all the books in the trilogy are good. The third one's called The Ghost Road. This one is the best of the 3, in my opinion. It's all set in this kind of the home front of World War I, when a lot of things were really changing dramatically. And the main character is dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder. He's also dealing with the fact that he's gay and trying to form relationships with other people. You can see all the social changes breaking out because of the war and how people's relationships are sort of scrambled by them. And it's just beautiful writing. It's a great book. My number 2 novel is here. This is The Amazing Adventures of Kavalier and Clay. This is like someone just made a checklist of things that are important to me or that have mattered in my life and put them all together. This is about comic books and creativity and identity and family relationships and being gay and fighting Nazis. And I never fought Nazis, but I like to think I would have if I'd been alive. This won the Pulitzer Prize for fiction. It's loosely based on the guys who created Superman. It's about 2 cousins. One's an artist, one's a writer, and they create comic books. One of the cousins is dealing with this horrible loss of his family. The other cousin is dealing with being in the closet and ends up getting married to a woman to try to kind of hide his sexuality. And I'm going to read a bit from. This is after one of the characters is. One of the characters is with his lover, and the police raid the house, and he ends up arrested and terrified. He vows never to see his lover again. It says, Sammy felt that he would rather not love at all than be punished for loving. He had no idea of how long his life would one day seem to have gone on, how daily present the absence of love would come to feel. And when I first read that book, and I've read it many times since then, that line just hit me and stayed with me for a very long time. How central love is to our lives, love of all kinds, and how damaging it is to cut yourself off from love. And then my number one novel, which is one I've loved for a long time and I read long ago, is called Saint Maybe by Ann Tyler. It's the story of a young man who ends up, through a series of events, taking care of his late brother's stepchildren and the sort of family they form, and how it ends up anchoring his life and kind of giving his life meaning. And there's this great passage toward the end, and I don't think this is a spoiler, but he's talking about, this is toward the end of the book, and the kids are grown up, and they're reminiscing about when he was a young man taking care of them as small children. And they're talking about when they all had the flu, including Ian, who's the main character, and they really wanted Hearts of Palm. They all really wanted Hearts of Palm, and he put his coat on over his pajamas, stepped into his boots, drove all the way to the store, and brought back Hearts of Palm. And Agatha, who's the little girl who's all grown up, said, "I said, Ian, thank you. And you said, thank you. Until you mentioned them, I didn't realize that's what I've been wanting all along myself." And this kind of theme runs through the whole book, the idea that the way we get what we need is by taking care of other people's needs, by connecting to other people. You don't find the life you want by sitting in a room by yourself and just thinking about what do I want. It's the process of relationships with other needy, messy, frustrating people that you discover what you value and what you need and what you want. And that's how you make a life. And that's what I think all these novels, and probably all novels, are trying to get at, is what does it mean to live a good life? What does it mean to live a happy or satisfying life? Or what does it mean to be empty, to be broken? And how do we come back from that? I'd love to see if you have favorite novels. It doesn't have to be a list of 5. It could just be a novel that's meant something to you in the comments or in a video response. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.